Welcome to Simply Sarap. So today's recipe is a super exciting recipe. It's called Ginataang Langka, or basically a jackfruit stewed in coconut. Now, jackfruit is cultivated throughout Southeast Asia and is so important to our culture and a lot of our cuisine. In the Philippines, we're used to stewing it or adding it onto our desserts. In fact, Filipino settlers were the first to bring jackfruit to Guam and cultivate it there during the Spanish occupation. Now, to start with our recipe, we'll be needing these jackfruits, and we'll be needing coconut milk, of course, which is a very important part of our recipe. So first, we'll start making our coconut milk. Now, this will add to the creaminess of this recipe and actually help the jackfruit stew and really get their full flavor. So while we heat this up, it's also worth mentioning that we have here this beautiful shrimp. It's a dried shrimp. Now, it's been salted and preserved while it was still fresh, of course, and this kind of saves it for a longer amount of time, and it's called hibi. You can find it in any market. Now, to our oil, we're going to add our garlic, we're going to add our onions, and our ginger. Now to this, we're going to add some green chilies. Now, I'm Bicolana, so I really love spicy recipes. So as this is sauteing, we're going to add some bay leaves. So give it a stir, and you can smell the beautiful flavors of the ginger, the onions, and the garlic. It's so strong and pungent. Now at this point, we're going to add some hibi. So this is the dried shrimp that I mentioned. It's been preserved with salt. And at this point, we can now add lemongrass. Now lemongrass, you can usually find it growing in other places here in the country, but it has this beautiful herbal smell that just goes perfectly with this dish. And now that the scents are kind of wafting throughout the kitchen, that's when you know that we can add our jackfruit. So jackfruit, this is basically underripe jackfruit. I have here kind of the half that I'd cut out. And it's basically this kind of tropical fruit, and usually when it's ripe, it turns yellow. But we want it underripe, and underripe jackfruit is used in so many recipes as kind of like a vegetable instead of a fruit. Now at the moment, the pot looks really full, and that's completely normal because it'll start to stew and wilt and tone down as we stew it along. So now we can add our coconut milk. So give it a good stir. Make sure that all the jackfruit is kind of pressed into the pot and coated in our coconut milk, our garlic, our onions, our ginger, so that they get to absorb all of the aromats that we just placed in, and they get to absorb that as it softens. And now we're going to wait for it to simmer and to soften down. So we'll cover it and leave it for about 10 minutes to 15 minutes, depending on how much you're cooking and how long it takes your jackfruit to soften up. So while our langka is cooking, we're going to add some more texture to this already very textured dish. So you just want to have a little bit of an upgrade, so we're putting in morsels of fried bite. Now bite is a fish spleen that's basically coming from the abo fish, and it's unique to our region here in Bicol. So we're going to fry it really quickly over a really like medium-high heat. Alright, so we're going to fry some of our bite in this hot oil. You just watch it gently puff up, kind of like Rice Krispies, or like a type of popcorn, but savory this time. Okay, now that you see it starting to pop up, that's when it's time to take it out. So you want to get all the oil out and make sure that you take it out quite quickly, because this burns really fast and it only takes seconds to cook. The volume of the jackfruit has kind of went down already. It's lost a lot of its volume. You can kind of see its individual strands coming out. And the jackfruit, what it does is it absorbs all of the flavors and aromas that you mix with it. So this is ready to serve. And you just want to get this beautiful texture of jackfruit piled up high in the center of your plate, and speckle it with some of that beautiful pink reddish shrimp. And that is our Ginataang Langka. Now my favorite part of this is tasting it. And I love Ginataang Langka so much. Big bite. Oh, it's so good. The jackfruit fibers are so meaty, and they taste just like the hibi. They've really absorbed the coconut and the shrimp, and the flavors just meld together so well.
rediscovering Filipino history and flavors in the next episodes of Simply Sarap. Visit the DFA official sites for more details.